Welcome to Where There's a Wills, There's a Play, and my first ever keep, cull, or club video. I have a pile or piles of games here that I'm either going to keep, at least for now, I'm going to cull and hopefully try and sell them, or I'm going to take into my board game club at school. So I stand here next to multiple piles of games. I started getting into the modern board game hobby. Oh, I don't know. It was probably 7 years ago or so, but very, very little. There was a handful of games I probably know the first 4, 5 games that I actually bought. It was just for something to do. Uh, and even when I bought the games that I bought, they weren't newer games. I was not big on new things. I didn't know new things. I didn't know what Board Game Geek was. I wasn't on any board game Facebook pages. And then I must have been researching some games or looking at some games. And then all of a sudden, just before the pandemic hit, I found out about Kickstarter. Well, the pandemic and me didn't really mesh very well. My impulse buying definitely took a hit as far as I was buying way too much, but I really had a hard time stopping. I was buying on Amazon. I was buying sales, Target, Amazon, wherever I saw sales directly from publishers, backing a lot of stuff on Kickstarter. And my collection continued to explode, well, continued to grow and then really explode. And then I got into solo board gaming, which brought me personally further into the hobby. And I love the hobby, not bashing the hobby. It gives me a release from real life. It has allowed me to get into some games that are a little bit thinkier, not super heavy, right around that 3 range on the Board Game Geeks weighted system is about where I top off at. Even though that system isn't the best in the world for rating things. And so I'm here today to just go through some of the games that I'm ready to get rid of. I'm ready to maybe take into my board game club to see how the kids feel, and ones that I'm going to keep for at least a little bit longer. So let's start off with one that I was really excited about when I saw. And that is Choose Your Own Adventure, House of Danger. House of Danger, well, not House of Danger, Choose Your Adventure were my favorite books as a kid. I probably read every one of them back in the 80s when I was in grade school. I was very excited about this. It was fun. It wasn't anything that excited us too much. We played it over a couple of sessions, and honestly, in between sessions, we had forgotten a lot of stuff that was going on, and we looked back, even though you're not supposed to, according to the directions. This one's going to be a cull. Just, it hasn't been at the table since we played it. It probably wouldn't ever get to the table again. It's just taking up space. One of my earlier Kickstarters, I believe, Sandwich Masters with the bread rolls expansion. It has a really cool box that looks like a lunchbox. This one I'm going to take into my board game club. I think this one might be kind of fun at school. Was okay at home, but we played it like once or twice when we first got it. Has not hit the table since. But this is one that definitely I think board game kids will really enjoy. Let's see. Floor plan. I thought it was going to be better. I really like roll and rights. The fact that the floor plans don't actually look like houses, actually not really interesting to me. I got better roll and rights. Don't really get this one out very much, if at all. I think maybe I got it out last year just to clear off my F on my alphabet challenge, even if for solo, I don't even know. So this one's going to be a cull. Not even taking that one into school. This is one that sat on my shelf for quite a while and played. Learned it in January, I think, with my showcase wall behind me was New to Me Games. Once again, another roll and write. It's got some interesting things. Just didn't do much for me. Imperial Settlers, roll and write. That one's going to be a cull as well. Here's one that I bought on Prime Day, I think a year and a half ago, almost now. A whim buy, one of those whim purchases. It was on a super sale. Still in shrink wrap. Not really a type of game that we play a lot at home, But I'm going to take this one into school because I think the kids might like this one, and that is Here to Slay. So that one's going to go to school. Next couple party games that we don't really have people over and don't really do party things. So gonna just get rid of these two games. I've had these for some time. Truth Be Told and the Game of Things. I might just give those to one of my co-teachers who might enjoy that. The next one is a game that I really enjoy. I equate it to almost a modern version of Clue, where you're trying to find a suspect. I really like this one. This one's actually going to go to my club. Kids have been kind of interested in Clue, and several have played it and stuff. And I think this might be just a step up for that. So I'm going to take Suspicion into my board game club. Next one, classic. We've got a wooden box vintage version of this that Hasbro came up with, or Parker Brothers came up with. Hasbro, whoever did. Don't really need to take this or keep this, and it takes up space. So we're going to cull Risk. Doesn't get played. No sense in keeping it on the shelf. We got more Kickstarters coming. A couple small box games. These are both going to be keepers for now. Probably going to go into our travel bag. They don't take up much space. So Bamboozled and Exploding Kittens, those are going to be keepers for now, at least. Probably go into our travel bag for sure. Another one hasn't hit the table for some time, but it is one that my wife and I do enjoy playing when it does. Sagrada, we're going to keep that one for now. The next one I got last year sometime. Looked like an interesting concept. Played it once around Halloween. Going to keep this one for now, maybe just to have for the Halloween time. Didn't excite me too much. That's Horrified American Monsters. But that one's going to be a keeper for now, at least. We'll see. Another game that really interested me when I saw it, the idea of this game was really interesting to me. The rolling of the meeples, Rolling Heights. The rolling of the meeples to build your city. Just an interesting concept. I don't know if it's got staying power. I'm going to keep it for now, but I have a feeling that the next time I do one of these, this is going to be on the cull pile. The rolling of the meeples, kind of gimmicky, actually. It is cool. It is interesting. But the towers you're building are very fiddly and fall over very easily, even for solo play. It's a lot of stuff just for solo play for me. The next one, this is one I was really excited about. In fact, I've got the precursor to this one up on my wall over my shoulder. I was really excited about this. The artwork in this is gorgeous. The gameplay is good. I'm not a fan of the solo mode. I'm going to keep this for now and see if maybe I heard some possible variants. I don't like the turn limit for the solo mode. I feel like you can't get anything going with the bag building, and that's Life of Amazonia. And I know this was a popular one last year. Saw it on several top 10 lists. I think maybe at a higher player count, it would be better because you don't have that limited turn order or that limited number of turns for solo play, which I really don't like in solo play, was like, oh, you have this many turns. And if things can't get going, then you're just done. Yeah, I don't know. It's got a little too much going on, I think, for my wife, knowing her gaming preferences and stuff. But I'm gonna keep it for now. But once again, next time I do one of these videos, I have a feeling this is gonna be on the cull pile. But should be able to sell that one. Next one. This I know was one of my earlier games that we purchased. I know this one was early on. We played it quite a bit when we first got it. You won't be able to tell by my BG stats because this was before I learned about BG stats. It's a fun game. It does not get to the table really much at home now. So I think this one I'm going to take in. I think the kids are going to enjoy this one. And if it's going to get played, Small World. So this one is going to go into my board game club. It's going to go on the special shelf, especially with all the pieces here. This is not going to be played without me. Kids will have to play this with me. So, once in a while. The next one is another Kickstarter I was very excited about when I backed it. There were some things during the campaign that kind of rubbed me the wrong way as far as just some antics by some things that were being said on Kickstarter. We'll leave it at that. And I've come to learn that maybe the solo is not great in it. This is one that I haven't actually not got to the table yet, but just a lot of things kind of rub me the wrong way. And now I've heard the solo in this is not very good. It's going to be a keeper for now. I do want to play it, and I'm hoping that this is just a hearsay thing. And that is Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. I was also very excited when I originally heard about this and backed this, and then kind of was in communication with the creator about it being a multi-game series. But then when I saw the new one and saw that they complicated it even more, I don't know. That one will probably be the only one I buy. The next game I learned in January as well. I don't know. I know this was another popular one for solo play last year. I don't know if my brain just can't figure it out or what. I went like 1 and 2 in this, took it off the table. It was at the end of the month. It's going to be a keep for now, but we'll see if it's a keep forever. And that's Legacy of You. I like the idea of it. I like the history of it. It's kind of an interesting story as far as the historical context of it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. Come down the road. The next one is one of my earlier Kickstarters as well. This one came with what Tom Vassell described as one of the worst rule books of all time. Well, if you can call it a book, it's more like a pamphlet that doesn't even give you any of the directions, really. You really can't play the game from it. They did release a FAQ, and they did release some other things, and somebody else went through and painstakingly took all the information from the FAQ and all the information from the appendix and the addendum and everything else that they released and put together an actual rule book. But just that it sat for months before that even happened, basically as an unplayable game based on the rules. This one has not hit the table, and it has been sitting for a couple of years now. We will probably get it to the table, but for now, just everything about this has just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I really don't have much interest to get it to the table, even if it looks so. And that's Silverwood Grove, the collector's edition. So as of right now, this is going to be on my cull pile. We'll see if we get it played before it gets culled. Couple small ones. Catan, the dice game. Quick little roll and write. Doesn't take up a whole lot of space. I would say I'm taking this into my club, but I got 4 copies of this donated for my club, along with 4 copies of Catan. So I don't really need a 5th copy there. I don't think it's really going to do much on a cull pile, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. So we'll keep this one for now. Patchwork Doodle. Going to keep this one for now. It's a way to play Patchwork solo-ish. It's fun. It's a quick little roll and write or flip and write, but it allows me to play Patchwork solo. It also can play up to 6 players. Keep that one for now. Another one of my earlier roll and writes that I really like, Railroad Inc. Keep this one for now, but I do have the app, and it's on Board Game Arena now, and several of the expansions are also on the app. So this one may end up actually at my board game club, so that it's not taking up space here, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of space right now. So for now, it's a keeper. But this one might end up at Board Game Club at some point, just because I can play it on BGA and I can play it on the app with expansions that aren't in this version. The next game is also one of my earlier games. We played it several times. I enjoy the game. In fact, one of my favorite games I ever played of this was when I took this into school for what is called Global Play Day and played with 3 other kids. And we got down, and I hadn't played it for some months even before that, probably at least 6 months. We got down to, I think, 5 or 6 cards left, realizing, oh, we really need to get this done. We had to cure a couple things, I believe, still, or whatever it was, or find the cure for a couple things still. And ironically, I believe that was like 3 months before the actual pandemic hit. And even though I had a great time playing this with some kids, that year before I had a board game club. Since we went through an actual pandemic, I really have no desire to play this game again. I have other games. My collection has gotten really big, so this is actually going to go on my cull pile. I don't really have any desire to play it again. Maybe that'll change, but since living through a pandemic and everything that went through, I really don't want to play a game about a pandemic. The next one I learned back in December. It is from the World of Ulos. It is the Dawn of Ulos. I love the World of Ulos. You can see Role Player back there along with Stone Spine Architects, which I did an unboxing for recently. And there's other World of Ulos games behind that. And you can see Cartographers up top with everything about Cartographers in it. Every expansion, every map, Cartographers Heroes, every small little card thing. I really like the idea of this game. I only play it solo. I feel a huge part of this game is the conflict between you and the different races. And unfortunately, in all of my games that I played of it, I felt like for solo play at least, if I didn't force the conflict, you could go almost the entire game, if not the entire game, without actually having any conflict. So it felt a little lacking in that. I do like the game enough to keep it for now. And I'm hoping maybe to try it at multiplayer, but we'll see. For now, it's a keeper. Good chance next time I do one of these videos, it will be on the cull pile. Not that it's a bad game. I really enjoy the game. Just for solo play, I felt like some of the stuff had to be forced. That felt like an integral part of the game. Next one, very popular game. Lots of expansions. Multiple versions of the game. I'm a huge Disney fan. Disney Villainous had heard a lot about it. Really popular game. Bought it. We played it a couple times. It didn't really hit for us. No sense keeping it around. This is going to be a cull. I don't think I'm even going to take this into my board game club, so we're going to cull this one. Next game. When we bought a couple of games several years ago, bought this at the same time, I think, as one of the Ticket to Ride City versions, about 5 years ago, I think it was. I think it came across my Facebook feed in the last month. Was really interested in it. Really sounded interesting. Had Neil Patrick Harris's name on it. I figured, hey, must not be that bad of a game if he's part of this. And that's amazed. And God, this game was bad. I mean, it just, for us, it just was bad. Didn't like this one at all. I'm not even sure we played a full game of it. Just didn't like it one bit. Next games will come together. I've played this one many times. It was actually on my showcase wall last month for my expansion month. Another game that I enjoy. It's just a lot of setup for solo play. It's not going to be one of my favorite ones. It's not going to be one that I pull off my shelf a lot. I do have the player mat for behind me as well. So that's going to be Architects of the West Kingdom and the Works of Wonder expansion. Those are both going to be, I'm going to cull those, I think. It's not enough for me to keep as a solo game. So, yeah. Another solo-only game. This one I've tossed back and forth between keeping and trying again or culling. Right now, I believe this is on my cull list, but that might change. I played this once. I won the base game or the intro game. It didn't really interest me. I haven't actually gotten it to the table since, and it has nothing to do with being a bad game. It just wasn't a game for me, and I just wasn't interested in trying the scenarios. That may change, but for now, at least, this Under Falling Skies on my cull list. And that brings me to my last two games. First one, another one of my earlier solo games that was very popular at the time when I just kind of bought a bunch of games that were being talked about a lot. Played it 5 times. Didn't really hit with me. Once again, the limited turns, but also the AI basically almost stealing a turn every so often with, depending on what cards they flipped, was not Not really interested in it. It's going to get culled. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. For solo play, I'm sure it's a great game. Just for solo play, it didn't hit for me. Which then, this goes back to my, buying games on a whim. I backed Terraforming Mars, the dice game, because I thought it looked better for solo play. And I will say I do enjoy this one more for solo play. So I am going to keep this one for now. Whether or not it's a keeper forever. I do feel like you actually get the 50 turns, whereas in Ares Expedition, you get 25 rounds of possibly 2 turns. But if the AI picks the same thing that you're doing, then you don't really get those turns from what I remember. I did enjoy this one more. I'm not going to say I'm going to enjoy it enough to keep it in my collection forever, but since I've got 2 of them, I am going to keep this for now. I did enjoy playing this one a little bit more. So there you go. There's my keep, cull, or club for April 2024. Where there's a wills, there's play. If you like this content, please like and subscribe down below. Comment. What do you think about my list? I know there's going to be a lot of games on here that people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you are culling that. But they just don't work for me. I play a lot of solo. They just don't work for me solo. They don't excite me solo. Not that any of these are really bad games. Well, some of them are bad games. Most of them aren't bad games. They're just not for me solo right now. There were 4 others I almost put on this list. I'm going to wait on to do those later. But there it is. Keep, cull, or club.